are you guys? First, I just wanted to say, before I even start on the card, that so far so good at Oakland. I really have to say that I know you guys knew I was very concerned last year, but I've seen, it looks great to me. Kids are smiling, teachers seem happy.
I was there today.
Yeah.
I thought so too.
You know what, I had concerns, but all in all, I think it's really a tremendous difference than what I thought it was going to be. So I'm very happy with it. You know, and there's things that still have to be worked out, but all in all, I just wanted to say that I think it's doing very well.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. I just have a question under the President's report. Can you explain what the approval of the amendment of the superintendent's contract is?
Yes, we voted to approve a salary increase for Mr. Simon.
And is that because of the new responsibilities with?
It's in part due to the fact that he didn't get a raise last year. He does have increased responsibilities last year and additionally this year going forward.
Why don't you describe what that?
I would say it's a 3% increase
Okay.
of his salary. I'm sorry? It's about $6,450. And as I mentioned, that was his raise over the 2-year period.
And that falls under the $295,000 that we're saving somehow, you know.
No, that's something different. That's part of the $75,000 or apart, in other words, apart, excluding his raise. Okay, even with his raise, we're still saving $75,000.
Okay. Does that mean Mrs. Burns and Mrs. Duffy got a raise as well?
As part of it. Yes, we did vote on that, I'm sorry.
Okay. And just one other thing.
And that also was included in the $75,000.
I just wanted to know, that's all. And just one other thing, I was so glad I noticed on here that you had missed it and then went back for the moment of silence. I would just like to know that perhaps going forward, I'm sure that you are aware that there have been graduates of West Islip High School that were killed on 9/11. And I was hoping that perhaps in the future, out of respect for them, that maybe we could not schedule anything, any after-school activities. I know there was 2 meetings that night, and there was also an open house. It's just out of respect that perhaps we can just not have anything on that day.
You know, I certainly understand your concerns. I guess the difficulty that we have, and it was mentioned earlier, in terms of space and competing for space, that any time buildings are shut down, now you're compressing a great demand into even smaller space,
Understood.
time space.
I understand. And just,
But it's certainly something that
it's just something that, you know, I just saw it and I just said, you know what, it's not a national holiday and that for something else, but, you know, perhaps just out of respect for, there were 13 people in this community that were killed. It would be nice to perhaps, in honor of them, not have anything.
If I could just make a comment, because I certainly respect your thoughts about that. I wanted to assure the public that all of our schools use the anniversary as an opportunity to remind students and staff of the sacrifices that people made. I think it's an opportunity to educate students. It's becoming more and more important because, it's been 11 years, so, we have now students who are in elementary school who weren't alive when this happened and really, don't know about some of this, and we need to make sure that that does not fade away, that people have that memory. But I'll certainly look at that. We can, make it, we'll attempt to do that. Some years it's easier than others, depending on how the calendar falls, but I think it's a fair thing for us to at least try to see if we can,
we can talk.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Have a good night.
And just on a side note, I don't know if you noticed that the Chamber of Commerce is installing a beautiful
Yes.
piece of art up at
Yeah.
the square
I can't wait to see it.
commemorating 9/11 with a piece of steel. It's all donated material. Everybody's donating their time and material and labor to get that done. So
It's
they're gonna have a
fantastic.
ceremony on November Veterans Day for it. So you might want to.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Thank you.
Mrs. Lane. Catherine Artusa?
Okay, a couple questions. The status of the windows, because I went to the Buildings and Grounds meeting and Mr. Bassi did not even bring it up, like it wasn't even anything even being looked into, which only concerns me, well, mainly because when we met in June last, I said I would like to see some sort of quote. July there was no meeting, and then August there was a meeting, but it wasn't on the district calendar, so I didn't go. So can you tell me what's going on? This has been 2 months.
At this point, Mr. Bassi did look at, or took an estimate of how many windows district-wide would be involved. But candidly, we also have some PA systems at Manitowoc
And below.
that have issues.
Okay.
And unfortunately, at this point, it looks like those cannot be changed without replacing the whole, they cannot be repaired, they have to replace the whole system.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you that right now, whatever money we might have been able to find for the windows is probably going to go to the PA systems.
Okay, well, the PA
That's
system was
considered a
done
safety
already.
situation.
Right, the PA system was done already.
No.
Didn't they say it was up and below working?
We have 2 of our 4 elementary schools that the systems need replacing. I believe it's actually Bayview and Manitowoc. And they each run,
Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's Bayview and Mac.
yeah, Bayview and Manitowoc. And as Mr. Geller said, you know, that's truly a safety issue. That's going to have to be the priority.
Funny, though, well, Mr. Bassi did put that on his description of the building when he was comparing all the buildings, codes. He didn't mention that needed to be repaired, right? Okay, but my thing with the windows is they're horrible. We know that they're not acceptable. We've admitted this in all the meetings. Mr. Bassi admitted it. And what I clearly asked for in June was an estimate on what it was to fix it from somebody other that lived, you know, worked or lived in West Islip. Did we get an estimate from somebody on how much it needs fixed? Because you tell me you don't have money to fix it, but you don't even know how much it is.
Yes, Mr. Ulrich, would you like to speak to that?
Joe Million, who works for Action Storefront, just
Okay.
as a resident, came and surveyed Bayview, said we cannot do this off-site, it has to be done on-site, which means you have to pay pre-going wage.
Okay,
Looking at between $35,000 and $45,000 per building, depending on the building.
okay. So, that's actually not as much as I thought it was gonna be, but okay, so that's not money we have right now. But eventually, that has to be worked into some sort of plan, because it looks horrible, and it's, the kids can't even see out the window, it's disgusting. And the teachers have problems opening the window.
I'll say right now, there's roofs that have to be done, it's gonna be done before windows, so.
I know, I heard about the roofs. Okay, well, I'm not dropping the windows, I'll drop it right now, but I'm not dropping the windows. So if I were you, I would just keep tabs on what you're gonna be able to do about it. And now,
Could I
Sure.
just wanted to add one thing, because, you know, you raise, one of the goals that the board approved tonight is to take a comprehensive look at the infrastructure needs of all of our buildings, because all of our buildings are aging. You heard, I think, Mr. Ulrich mention that we are beginning to become particularly concerned about even bigger issues like our roofs. So certainly, we're not going to lose sight, no pun intended, of our windows and the issue there. But we are looking at all those big issues, because we're reaching a point with our buildings that we have to figure out both fiscally and in terms of need and priority, what are the pieces that need to be addressed in what order. But I can assure you that windows is on the list, and Mr. Bassi is going to look to put together a comprehensive plan for the next few years to try to address a variety of infrastructure needs.
okay, that's good. My second question is, what types of businesses are looking to rent the 2 buildings? I know you can't say specific, but I want to know specifically which type.
They tend to be educational.
Well, they're educational, but they wouldn't be in the tax-free bracket,
Right, correct.
because they're like a business education. Like an after-school or daycare type thing.
It could be a private after-school care, it could be sports-related, things of that nature.
Right, so no type of medical businesses, like say Good Samaritan, or any type of businesses that would be like a safety risk to the children that are next door in Bayview?
And no discussions with Good Samaritan whatsoever. At least, no drug rehab.
Okay,
I will tell you, we will certainly be very conscious of safety issues.
so So what's getting approved at the meeting on the 27th? Just to,
Yeah, sure.
When a school district leases a building, the questions arise as to whether those buildings which, while operating as a school, are under the jurisdiction of the state education department, but then in being conveyed through a lease interest to a private entity, fall under the jurisdiction of the town. So the town has the right to make inquiry into the nature of the leases that the district is pursuing to determine whether the zoning and building code exemption that the school enjoys as a school will continue.
I guess I just don't understand how that's helping our taxes, like in the town, if we bring in more businesses that don't have to pay taxes.
It's not a tax question. The school district is tax exempt, and when they lease the building, the school district is still tax exempt. It's not a tax question, it's a zoning issue.
Right. Because otherwise we would be responsible for those taxes.
no, we're not taxed on that property.
No, and the tax is not going to change.
How it helps us is the revenue that we'll receive by the
Right.
income by renting. That's all.
But
It doesn't
they-
go back on the tax roll. The
Okay,
property will
it
not
doesn't
go
affect that,
No.
okay. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up is just the raises that were given. And I'm actually not against raises because, I mean, it's very important to encourage people that work for, you know, especially our children. The only thing that concerns me is at the budget presentations, it was made very clear by Mrs. Simon himself and other people that, you know, it was understood that people were taking on more responsibility because of everything going on, and that we're in a tough financial situation, and we're going to be in a tough financial situation again when we do the budget. And yet, here we are in September, and there's already raises. And again, it's not that I think you're wrong for giving the raises, it's just that it feels misleading. And the second thing being is that there was other things that the kids lost, like the library, which we know about. I know you can say you didn't lose the library, but by now my kids would have been taking out library books and visiting the library, and they're not. That were also after the budget. And I just feel like it's just so, where does this money come from? If we say this is what it is,
Well, as we explained, the money came from the reorganization.
okay, but we knew those positions were gone.
Right, I'm sorry?
We knew those, well, because he left
No, this
earlier.
is a change in it, this is change, this
Okay.
is a reorganization of the reorganization, if you will. This is changes to the organization from what had been presented in the budget. So this is the net savings from the bottom line budget amount.
For example, in the budget, we budgeted to replace Dr. Harvey's position and Mr. Nokia's position as a combo director position. We haven't replaced it. We've taken those duties and we've parceled it out to our existing staff. It saves us money.
And I agree, and I said, I'm not against it.
That work doesn't go away. It's there. Somebody has to do it.
I understand, I really do. It's just that we started off this year asking teachers not to take their ratings again, and they didn't do that, I know, because they've done it before in the past. But as soon as everything's done, we went and gave more raises out. So, I mean, in a way, thank God the teachers didn't give up their raises, because that would be pretty embarrassing right now. They still aren't taking their, right?
Well, I guess I understand where you're coming from. I do understand that it's a little bit confusing, but at the end of the day, the choice would have been either reorganize the district office and who's doing what kind of work, or hire somebody to do it. And this
Absolutely.
was a cheaper way out. This saves the district money, and that's why we agreed to it. Because that's how, and it wasn't initially presented to us that way. It was a negotiation back and forth. And this is what the board believes is a resolution that is in the best interest of the students and the taxpayers.
Okay, well, I agree with that. I guess I just wish that when we're doing the budget, we're discussing, because I know you can't talk about contracts, but maybe everything's up front. So it's not like, seems like after the fact, because I think that's the most shocking part of it.
Right?
Well, I do understand what you're saying, but again, this was something that was changed. It wasn't in place and withheld. It was something that came up afterwards. At the time of the budget, the plan was absolutely to hire another member of the staff.
Remember, Mr. Zopia,
Right. That's
Right,
the
Mr.
key.
marked the plan,
That's the key.
Right, Mr. Zucker was supposed to leave at the end of November.
so, I mean, we have to react to that
Right.
we can.
I wish you could say that about the windows. You right? Because you like didn't have the money in the budget, but you know, like that would be great.
Unfortunately,
Or the library for the kids.
other things have come to pass that take precedence a little bit.
And we have reacted,
So,
right, we are
I'll keep you
So we
posted if I
did, we
think.
did.
They can't take that.
They can. Yes, they can. Mrs. Burns, there too.
They haven't taken any out yet.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, let me just clarify, the library media specialists will be in the buildings every other week. So for these first 2 weeks, we're just wrapping up our second week of school. The kids did not take books out until the library media specialist assigned to that elementary school had an opportunity to review procedures and good library etiquette with the students. So if your child perhaps is scheduled for library tomorrow, maybe that will be their
They
day.
are, yeah.
But after that first initial orientation with the library media specialist, the children will most certainly be able to check out books on a weekly basis, and that is why we put the full-time aides back into the library.
So, starting
So if there's any issues, just call me. Okay?
next week,
Yes, I would.
starting next week, they will be able to borrow books every week.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just one quick thing about ASFES. Did you work out anything with that negotiation?
Ask Us
Because
is,
people are concerned that people are using those buildings, like, and I keep telling people, well, they're working on it, they're trying to get a, you know, a new,
Ask Us, yes, we have a resolution with Ask Us. They are paying us rent
okay,
and they are using Kirby.
okay.
So, I know there's been concern about the lights being on in there and activity.
Right, well, I keep telling people that you were working on the
We have
resolution,
resolved.
but I didn't know if there was a final.
Yes, we did resolve that. I'm sorry? Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Margaret Dixon?